Father, for all things. Thank you for the truth. Thank you for the abundance of this ministry here. And come in here and share the word. I come in first part of the day here and see, we have a conversation, see if anybody's, what's your exit strategy? What are you trying to do not partake? So what do you not, there's things he doesn't want us to do. Come out of her, my people. Being at east. So the system, how are you separating yourself? Do you have an exit strategy? I wouldn't make plans because Father will wreck them. Just prepare for both good and evil, good times and bad times. You're supposed to thank Father for all things. So thank you, Father, again for all things, everything not written. If it hasn't been written yet, Father, he's the one who's going to create that, if it ever will be, everything that ever will be. So it hasn't happened yet. Father is the Word, and that's what he wants us to love. Agape, his word, and not love the world. That's why he said, come out of her, my people. So what's your exit strategy to get out of the world? If you're off the mark, that's karak, that's the word mark, and sin is to be off the mark. So which, one way or the other, hot or cold, he said, I'll vomit you from my mouth. So thank you, Father, for the fire, the refiner's fire. We're supposed to be refined in the fire and be like the impurities, and that's what people they don't study the word, and that's because the word isn't in them. He didn't write it on their hearts. Most people are evil and most people go to hell. That's what the word says. So hallelujah for the word. So broad is the way that leads to the wide gate that leads to hell. Many enter by that gate. So he tells us to enter through the straight gate. And hados, that's the Greek word for to be in the same narrow way. In the narrow way. That's what he said, I am the narrow way. So broad is the way that leads to hell. Many enter, most people go to hell. That's what the word says. So hallelujah to the word. Got to accept the word, right? No, it's written on our hearts. You can't accept it. You got to study it. Can't accept the Messiah he calls out to the hearts of his bride. He loves his bride. He makes them love him back. He makes them, they're like programmed, not by the world, like some Android or iPhone or Apple, but I don't know, IBM, I don't know, whatever. I don't have a computer. I guess I do. I got a phone. Time is an illusion, but we were talking about you there yesterday. You were being spoken of. Was your ears itching their connection? So Father's testing you, isn't he? Just beating the snot out of you. I hear you. I need to get my back taken care of, but I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna keep going like I did the last 2 times. So, but all glory to the one who lifts, the Savior, sozo, lift, to lift. So thanks for keeping us upright. Good to have you back. Just in here looking at the state of the corporation, thinking, boy, oh boy, they're talking about having drones in California. So they brought the war to the doorstep of the American people, and they don't even see it. And they're draft that are thinking about it, talking about it, because they're going to do it. If they go in and put boots on the ground, they're not going to, Iran's not a lay down. They're like, okay, we're ready, bring it. Mulan Labe, that's what they basically said. So what an interesting time to be a witness to eyes. So um, the seeing eye sees what's going on here, and I think it's again we were at you yesterday, so you knew you didn't know exactly where you're at. Yes, you will. You're by proxy. Canadians you'll be drafted too. They'll draft the Canadian children and, well, younger men and youngest, the finest the nation has to offer, and the women probably not, but Canadian men better get ready. So you're going to get drafted too. This is all about China, whether anybody understands what's going on or not. Venezuela's was about China, shutting off China from their oil. Russia. People don't see what's going on. All this over there in Iran, that's about Russia, China, but they don't see what's going on, and that's okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to preach to the choir here, because it's not, people don't see it. That's not for me to decide. People are lost. My dad warned me about China in the 80s. So every move that they're making right now is part of this bigger 5D chess move, but it probably will involve a draft. And I don't want to say that, but I have been talking about it for years on this platform, as well over TikTok, made videos about it, and talked about them being able to draft the American, the female. So, oh well, I can't do anything. Look at that, just back to zero. It says there's nobody in here. This YouTube is so moderated now. This channel's so shadow banned, isn't it? I love it. Thank you, Father. It's okay. It ain't no different than just putting out a channel video either way too. So I'm not here to make friends with the world. I'm here to share the gospel. That's what I'm here to do. That's what Father makes me do. So thank you, Father, for that. I'll always it's an eternal thing. So, what can you do? Anyways, moving on. No plans on when to. Yeah. It'd be too late, Sabrina, to be honest, 100%. I want to tell everybody that. You're not going to go anywhere. I've made this point many times. They've barricaded these cities in, and if you don't leave, you're going to be too late. And it's better to be 5 years too early than 5 seconds too late, is all I want to tell you, because I'll give you the best preparedness. It's a mindset, so you don't do it in haste. You know what I mean? Nothing done in haste, nothing done in panic. The tortoise and the hare, you got to be doing it already. Practice makes, perfect. Perfect practice, lack of prior planning prevents piss poor performance. If you want to perform poorly, then don't plan. Don't go out and do it. Okay, well, I'm just saying, Sabrina, most won't, though. Okay, I'm trying to let you know. Just saying. Cities, people are in a city. You're not leaving a city. You're not going to a city. You're not getting out of the cities. They have that all ready to go. Or at least here in America. I don't know what the Canadian infrastructure is set up like, but I'm sure there's a similarity, because Canada is America. It's not any different. It's the same, one and the same, two cheeks to the same hole. So, wings to the same dragon. Now Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela. It's not going to stop. So, Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I hear you. If you're not in a city, you'll fare much better. Population density will be the number one, you know, unaliver of people will be population density. Ill prepared people, ill prepared people more than anything. People who don't have any exit strategy. You know what I'm saying? And you remember what I said about how that works, right? If you find yourself in a larger populace when if something happens, always remember what I told you. I think it's the best preparedness, some of the best preparedness advice that you could be given is that the fastest way out of town will be the longest way. Most people are going to jump on that easy exit, the quick exit strategy, the highway, and then it's going to get clogged up and backed up, and you're not leaving. Narrow is the way, country road. So you're going to want to take the back way out of town, which will be the longest way, which will be the shortest way. You've been here for that, so you know that. So um, that's some of the most sound preparedness uh, advice somebody can give you. And I'm not telling you what to do. I just understand. I've been doing preparedness on YouTube for 12 years. Always done preparedness. Every channel I do has been preparedness. Everything I do in my life is about preparedness. It is. I do very little without purpose for forward later days. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Thanks for hanging out. Connection. But you know what I'm saying? You do what I'm saying, Sabrina. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, there's times you're always in the summer, you're preparing for the winter. In the winter, you're preparing. You're an Inuit, so you know. I mean, you understand that. And I just understand because of the culture. You know what I'm saying, and you're because of your climate too. More you have to be a little bit more like that, live a little bit more like that. But people don't have a preparedness mindset, and that's why they don't perform well. So that's what I'm saying. We need to try to practice practice what we preach. Right? So you'll know them by their fruit. Don't judge them by their cover. It don't matter what they look like, what they say, what are they doing. Their fruit. What kind of fruit are they producing? So um, I just know it from being a veteran, knowing that performance is something. If you want to perform well, you need to do it at least once. You'll do it better than doing it the first time, unless you're just some kind of natural. And most people are not naturals at things. It takes them. It's not that you can't master something after becoming habitual at doing it. When you bitch about doing it, well, habitual, right? Try to keep it to a minimum here. So, but it's hard to do. Like running 5 miles. Can you go run 5 miles right now? What's your run time? Run it straight through, non-stopping, 5 miles. You know what I mean? And then you do it day after day, and you do something that becomes habit, and then something you were habitual about, it becomes habitual because you can do it in your sleep. You know what I mean? Beat it into you like a drum, a chant, a mantra, day after day after day after day after day after day after day. You say it in your sleep, kind of deal. Doing it in your sleep, doing it, running it backwards, blindfolded, you know. Uh, but see what I'm saying? After you master that 5 miles, you've done it. If you did it day after day, it wouldn't be 5 miles, it'd be a breeze. You could run it backwards, blindfolded, know the route, make the corners and all that if you did it enough, you know what I'm saying? And then it wouldn't be hard. You wouldn't be habitual about it. I'm just saying. So that's why I'm just saying, even if you do something one time, it's better than never doing it. So you've at least gotten your feet wet, you know what I'm saying? Know what the water feels like, you know. So I'm going to use that. That's a better way to say use the curve. So stop habituating about it. Habitually, always habitually bitching, habitually about it. So no, let's stop. But anyways, just a female dog. But either way, performance comes from perfect practice, prevents piss poor performance. So again, perform well when you practice. You know. Preparedness is a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It takes um, a daily, you know. And again, you said it. We're supposed to be preparing. I prepare all things. You're supposed to be preparing your afterlife. Why are you so big about preparedness? because the Messiah is still not done preparing. How about that? So, oh gosh, there ain't nobody awake, eh? Nobody's awake right now. Everybody's sleeping. I got 2 people in here from Canada. The whole country of America's. You see this, Sabrina? We had 2 people in here, you in connection, both from Canada. America's asleep. This country is freaking a joke. I hate America. I hate America. And I can hate America. I'm not supposed to like what's going on in this country. You know, people are so lame. I'm going to have me a little rant. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to habitually about it. So, but anyways. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I got the West Coast over here. I'm over here. But what everybody on the right, I'm on the left coast because I ain't right. Get it? Okay. Over there because of the time change, the big ball dropping like the apples out, Adam's apple. But moving on. All right. So, but anyways, what are they doing? Seriously, there's just nobody. Everybody's on the sleep. Father too, he's shadow banned this channel totally. If you've noticed now, we had talked about it the other day. It's not being put out unless you guys share this channel or whatever. It's just not being. It is what it is. I don't care. That's right. No extra oil. They're not putting in any work. You'll know them by their fruit. Do not judge them by their cover. Faith without works is dead, and by faith and faith alone we are saved. Remember Sozo? Believing in me, Maranatha, until I return. It's okay. All right. No worries. Afterlife insurance. You got it. You nailed it. Man, I had a little bone hair on my hat there. So, it's still dark out here. Still dark out here in the desert. So, I'm going to let the chickens out in a little bit. I haven't heard that rooster in army. Well, he's already crowed earlier. So, I like having that. I like being on a farm. I love having the roosters crow first, early in the first part of the day, and the Alpha Mike AM. So, but again, I'm thinking about this exit strategy again. I talked to you guys about this, on how to exit, everything, how to exit the system, how to exit how many hairs I got on that hat? My hair, my hat's growing hair. It's it's pants. Don't worry about it. He gets hair. So he's just hanging out next to the dad. He's just here with the dad. Just here with the dad. He's with the dad. Just hanging out by the fire. Dad's got the fire going. We're just being with the dad. Being with the dad. That's how you get puppy hairs all over me, because he's always just rubbing on the dad. This gives him dad hugs. Just good guy. He's such a good guy. Oh, I love this puppy though. So, but anyway, okay. So the exit strategy again. How do you exit the system? How do you right now again? I want to share some information that I gleaned from. I have. Yes. Good stuff. So, I spoken with the coin shop owner. She's been in the business for 51 years. You know what I mean? This is a long, relationship that I've had with these people. I've had obviously told people where my precious metals are at and had them taken before, but if I never did, I'd still have all of them 100%. So it's my bad for, opening up, and giving people the treasure map. We'll just say it that way. Okay. So, well, whatever, but moving on, and multiple, because I am looking at how to exit the precious metal sector right now, because it's not wrong to pull profit. We just seen this metal sit nearly stagnant. It made a couple moves in the last 20 years, but it just sat, and now it's, it went from $20 to, up to $121, and that nearly shut down every coin shop across this country, because they don't have the overhead to be buying $250,000, $250,000, $500,000 worth of precious metals, gold and silver every day, you know. And so um, I did ask multiple people who deal with coinage, bullion, and they both told me that nobody sold their silver for over $100. They never paid that much. I know it was more. I know it was 130 something bucks or something for an eagle, and it's still $100. It's $97 for a buffalo round on Atmex. So that's what I'm saying. These people are paying way back of what the cost it is to hold the physical, and even the spot price on the paper price. But you know, if you hold right now, um, you may have to hold it a lot longer, and that may go up a lot more considerably. You could see, I'm not saying it will, but you could see $150 silver, but you didn't have anywhere to sell it last time. And right now they're not buying any constitutional silver. Things like jewelry and 925, they're not. The refiners are backed up because the silver price got up, and people pulled out a lot of their stuff and sold off. And right now that the commodities exchange, they do, pure silver, 999 pure 1,000 ounce Comex bars. That's the big money. The Samsung, the iPhone, the Apple, the Starlink, the DARPA, the Palantir, all these big companies, Boeing, these people need silver because it's, part of the industry, and that's the major demand on silver. There's a 20 to 30%, or excuse me, a 20 to 30%. There's a 2 to 300 million ounce deficit every year that is demanded, brought on by industry, not the coin shops, not the pawn shops, not your local, collector, not your, bullion, numismatic. That's not what's swinging the price. The price is made up off of paper. The paper price is made up off of the Comex, which sells to the big 1,000 ounce bars right now, which are all pure. So those refiners are not wanting refined because it's the big whales that want the silver right now. Remember, they made the U.S. made silver a critical mineral, as well as copper. That means they use them is in war. And look at how much silver is being blown up right now. All these Patriot missiles and THAAD and all these, whatever. They don't use Scuds anymore, but probably, who knows, they're just using it all. But these all take silver. You're looking at a monster box of the tip of a smart missile. 500 ounces gets decimated and it doesn't come back. So there would be a larger, demand later, but I don't think you're going to be able to sell it. I think you'll be able to trade it when the demand, people want it, and especially big money for cars, for horses, for tractors and things like that. But the thing that was always nice about precious metals is you could liquidate it. It was one of the most liquid assets, as good as gold, right? And silver. So, but here's what I'm going to get at. I'm going to make my point and roll on in this conversation a little bit. They didn't pay no more than 100. Period. I don't care how high the silver price got. So I think the same thing's going to happen again. And if the price of metal goes over, they'll stop buying it, or they won't buy it for less than, not really. They didn't even say 100. They said more like 95, 6, 7, 8, 9. Once it hit 100, these shops quit buying the metal at any higher price. Okay. So this is what I'm giving you. I'm trying to discuss with you the silver price right now. Leave gold out of it. It's a different animal. It will shut down those shops too. They even stopped buying gold for a minute because they were just overbought. Like I said, they didn't have any more overhead to buy any more metal. Once they buy that metal, they either have to send it out to the refiner or sell it back to you, the public. So there is some demand by public, but not like there is from industry. When the refiners shut down, that slowed down this market. It almost came to a screeching halt where you wouldn't be able to go liquidate it for any cash, whether it was Canadian dollars, the dinar, the dong, the won, whatever it was. Well, at least here in America. Okay, it wasn't in the other countries, my bad. At least here in the Americas when it got up to that price. So again, what I'm trying to explain to you is that people aren't going to be able to exit, in my opinion, and I'm not giving any advice, and that we'll just call it economic theory here, that you're not going to be able to sell your metal for any more than $100. Just don't even say 100. 99 is probably the cutoff. So if you don't plan on holding it for the rest of your life and giving it to your kids, I'm not giving any this economic theory, but this might be a good time to pull some profit. So this is what I'm looking at too. Things are progressing very quickly in this country, whether people realize it or not. The world will go on even when we're out in the Third World War, like right now. It's not going to end like people want. That they want the big happy ending, I guess you can call it. So that's a different way to put it, right? So, but you see what I'm saying? So I don't know, connection, what they would give you if you went to, you guys have some kind of pawn shop or something like that up in Canada, right? They call it a pawn shop up there, right? Or something similar to that, right? Where you go taking buyers of coins and things, maybe not, or a coin shop, right? Your coin shop's not going to give you that price right now. And that's it's a bummer because people are still, that's what I'm saying. For the long hold, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. When you're giving that to your kids, it'll be worth thousands of, but that the price will inflate. Everything will be more expensive later. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So, so they're not going to give you the price that 137, right? I think this is what you said. They might give you 110. You know what I'm saying? Up there in Canadian dollars, because you guys have a whole different, people don't realize how it's just, America is numb when it comes to economics too. They don't realize how much more your dollar, how much everything more cost up there. The Canadian dollar has not the value. It's inflated out. It costs more to live, period, across the board. Remember that person that was blogging that they left America, that lady, she left America, she went up to Canada, and it was habitually griping about how expensive it was. Well, no, never mind. Okay, so moving on. Again, I don't think you'll be able to exit your metal without trade. Now, I talked to this coin lady, and she's like, "Man, I can't think that far ahead." I said, "Well, I'm just that kind of guy. I want to have the conversation with you. I've dealt with you. I think she knew who I was. Once I said, I know who you are. I said, I've been in there. I've dealt with you guys for decades." And I think she knew who I was. But when I told her, I do think that they'll close down the coin shops, and they won't be necessarily closed, but I mean, they will. They'll probably close their doors because the price of metal might get too high. Maybe they'll deal in numismatic still, and maybe they'll be open, but you're not going to be able to sell. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything's so expensive in Canada. And that's what I'm saying. I don't understand if people don't get that, but that Americans don't know that. Some do, but most don't. They don't understand the difference between your guys' Canadian dollar and the American, but okay, but either way, so you're not going to be able to exit this precious metal sector if they put a pause on metals. So that remodel that you were hoping to do with it, that buying that pickup truck, that or whatever, it might be put on hold. You might have to trade for it. You're not going to be able to go back good as gold, maybe like a Harley, or I'm saying the gold standard. There's a reason why it's called that. You know what I'm saying? But then you can liquidate back into King Dollar. I've always told everybody, you don't want to do that. You don't want to take your, and I even said that to the lady yesterday. You don't want to trade your paper for you guys having it, but you're in the business for assets and trade it back for paper. But that's the nice thing about coin shops, pawn shops as well, is you can get back into that paper if God forbid you have to. And I've had to do it once, like in my life. I didn't like doing it, but I did it. And again, I'm thinking about taking the small amount that I have and trying to buy the rest of the things that I need for this ministry minus the house, you know, and it's probably just going to just get me by with basically being able to put the power and the water and the permitting in here, or excuse me, the power, not water, the power in the sewer and the electric in here, and it'll wipe me out. But oh well, you know, why do I want to hold on to it when I can't get rid of it? You know what I'm saying? And it's so crazy, but that's how much this precious metals market has changed. You understand? That's how much this precious market has changed. Going on Mart Royal Bull. Nice. So you might not have that issue in Canada, but I think you will. I think it'll be the same thing. So I think if silver, which I do think again is about ready to spike again. Hey, there's my rooster. I think it's about ready to spike again. We're going to see another run up, you know, hopefully not a fake one like last time, but that could put a pause on you being able to go liquidate if you needed to back into some, because you wanted to do something, you needed to pay a doctor bill, you needed to pay that they don't take a, you know, silver for or gold for, you know, that, you know, you need to get back into that paper, you know, payment. No. Okay, so again, maybe we should go let them birds out. So I'll give them a minute, but this is my point: is that I think again, if we see, I'm only not, and I'm not going off of something that hasn't happened before. Now, you understand? I'm not sitting there trying to tell you something that hasn't happened. This happened once already, or at least here in America, where many of these coin shops paused buying. They're not buying any constitutional silver. Good, good. Not good, because it'd be, you know, I mean, if they'll buy it. Last time there was a premium during the COVID when the actual public wanted the constitutional, the pre-64, you know, rosy dimes, mercury dimes, the you know, 50-cent piece halves, the pre-64 quarters. It got the premium as high as the Eagles. 100% premium. It was $25. And then it was $25 premium. And the same thing with the junk, called junk silver. Okay, so, but either way, most people don't know about the precious metal sector because it's tiny. That's why I was speaking with this coin shop lady yesterday. There, not for hundreds of miles is there another coin shop for where I live. There isn't. There's just one in Bend, one coin shop. The two pawn shops, you know, but they pay way under spot. They're not going to give you the price. I called yesterday. They said they pay 81 for 81 at the coin shop for this one here locally for 80, and the price was like 85 yesterday. 80 for a bullion round, like a buffalo, and 81 for an eagle. Now I called over in Eugene, it was 85, a little bit higher over there. The pawn shop was 70. They're paying $10 back of what, you know what I'm saying, but they sell at spot. They sell the metal more at a better price, the pawn shops, than the coin shops here in this town, which is okay. because you can get it at a better rate. And but the point again that I'm making right now is that this exit in back into cash could be paused again. So you're not going to be able to get out of your metals, and nobody's talking about this. So what I think would happen is if they shut this, buying down of these coin shops, and they maybe stayed in business for numismatic, but they weren't buying anymore. They put a pause on bullion, even gold, maybe, we'll see. I mean, gold's at like $5,300, dollars. Okay. But, that the government will come in and subsidize them and tell them, you buy all of this and you put it back in your coffer and you safe and you send it to us, because they already know how to do that. They already send it to refiners. That's backdoor stuff you don't ever see, behind the counter kind of stuff, So I could see something like that. When I said that to her, she's like, well, wow, wow. She was blown away. And I'm like, well, look, I just think forward sometimes, because they already made it a critical mineral. So the government could come into all these coin shops or even pawn shops and said, buy it at this price, take it and pull it back and put it behind the counter, and then send it in these boxes to us. We'll have somebody come by and pick it up because they need it to go to war. So let's be real about this, okay? I want to have a real conversation. No other silver channel is talking about this. Well, kind of. I wouldn't mind scrapping. I'd love to have that set up for the ministry, something like that connection, like 3 or 4 guys here, right? Ladies, guys, it don't matter. And we go out and scrap for the day. A couple days a week, we go pick up scrap, drive into Bend, go get in the pickup with the trailer and go in and just find a bunch of scrap, bring it back here and turn it into, HD fat little chubs, little meatloaf bars. Eat of the meat, meatloaf bars, HD fat, little chubs. Could you see it? HD fat on the little 999 pure little copper chub or whatever. So look like a little piece of meatloaf, so. But anyways, they call them loaves or, chubs or whatever. But anyways, with a little stamp on it, hand it out, send them out to the ministry. That'd be fun, man. Refiner's fire, learning how to use a crucible and learning how to refining process, and, be cool as heck, man. Father, don't give me nothing though. Here I sit out here alone, but I got you guys. So heck, whatever. Freaking. Oh well. Now, actually, I put that ad on, guys, and I got some responses. I got several responses. I think I'm going to consider contacting a couple people here, and we'll see. I'm gonna. I want to share. Like I said, I want to share the ministry. I want to share the ability to have. I have space here, and I got some pretty good response. Like I said, I'm doing the work trade where it's $600 a month to fix this building up and live in it. You have to remodel the inside and have a place to park. They can have animals. $20 an hour is what I'll pay them. That's 30 hours a month that they would owe me to live there. 30 hours of their, so that gives them basically, how many more weeks in a month, 43 weeks of the month they can work and do part-time job and earn income outside of this ministry too. I'm saying, outside of this homestead, and still, have a life, still be able to have a little bit of time too, and have time here, work part-time job, and still do things and not stress themselves out. You know what I'm saying? Be okay. Nothing, no big, not like, and things could get done. I could use a labor. I could use a hand when I need somebody. Hey, will you hold this board for me? Work around their schedule a little bit or whatever, just make it work. So I'm cautious. I'm going to be super, picky, super critical, a little bit critical about, but it's crazy. I don't know why I got so many response from women. I got like 90% of my responses from women. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, what Father's doing here, but Father's doing it, not me. But it does seem like there's a flood of response by women a little bit older than me, some younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So um, I just don't want any of them to get the idea that I'm looking for a date or a wife or a girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a laborer, somebody to grow out here at the ministry, somebody who can, you know, um, be a part of it. But it's not all that. But I have gotten, some of that. I just get the vibe. I don't know why. So, and that's okay. I understand that people are. I just don't want. I don't want. I'm not forcing father. You know what I'm saying? Uh, uh, I don't want to force what father's will be done. So I don't want to open some doorway because of that. You know what I mean? So I'm not biased. That's why I said in my thing. I'm well. I could have a woman or a man out here. I see one race, the human race. I don't see race. I don't see color. So if some woman could come out here and you know, and I've been getting a lot of responses, like I said, too, from older ladies saying, "Hey, man, I wish I could be there. I'd love that. I'd love to come out there. I'm just a little bit old, too old." And uh, I'm like, okay, cool. Appreciate it. I mean, go get it, ladies. You're not too old, some of them. But see, I don't want somebody coming here like that. They're already making excuses. I mean, so if you're already too old, well, it probably won't work. I guess I needed a self starter, self motivated, somebody who I can tell what to do once or twice. They could be left alone on their own. You know, somebody could teach, somebody could swing a hammer, somebody got a skill set, somebody could read a tape measure, somebody who's used you know, a, a speed square, a framing square before, and maybe has a few of their own tools. That's the type of person I need out here. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a wife. So like I said, some of the contacts are just like, why are you contacting me? You're not. My ad is pretty specific on what it is that I'm trying to do here. So, um, not trying to. I'm trying to build, not. You know, Again, it's not. There are a lot of people on that site, and actually they made a thing called homesteaders for singles too, off of this website because they were getting so many people in there that were just coming in there and putting themselves out there. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, I've been trying to homestead for 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, and I need a partner out here. There's a lot. I am blown away at how many people have a homestead. It's small. It's a tiny number, but when you kind of hone over something and you look over a statistic, it kind of can skew the statistic, if you will. Whatever. You weren't looking at any of that disease, but it was still going on until you put it out there. Oh my God, all this is happening. Kind of like the train deal when they were talking about all those train accidents, like the vinyl chloride incident, you know, in Ohio. Remember all that? There wasn't more accidents that year. They just put it in front of everybody. So, you know, but when honing over it, I found that there are a lot more people that I thought that are just like myself that are, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, some even in their 20s, you know what I'm saying? That have a beautiful homestead, guys. Some people are so well off, you know what I'm saying? Truly, it's unbelievable the opportunity. I encourage you to go look at this website. Some people are so well off. I mean, they got tractors, horses, cows, whatever. They got the whole beautiful properties, land, rivers. I mean, somebody could just go buckle down and go find a place to go live on some farm and become just some of these spreads are unbelievable, but they've got nobody there to help them. It's crazy that some of us get isolated like that. I think Father does it to us more than anything. These people got money and stuff. You think they'd have more? No, they're kind of isolated because they do their thing. They're building out their homestead. They're not trying to have a social life. Animals take time. I got to get up here in a minute and go open up my birds and feed my ladies. You know what I'm saying? They give me golden butt nuggets, So, uh, so it's amazing how many, like I said, people like myself, like I say, it's people in their 50s worked hard for what they have and have a beautiful spread, and they don't have anybody there. And then when they put themselves out there, they will put themselves out there like that too. they've got this beautiful spread, and some of them, I'm not saying they're ugly, but they might not be the most attractive person in the world, but they're passable. You know what I'm saying? They're not, beating with a stick kind of ugly, bumping the ugly and not enough bumping, right? So, but anyways, all right. But anyways, but they're beautiful people. You can tell just by looking at them. Their soul, their spirit, their spread is beautiful. It's organic, what they're doing, and they need help, and someone like, hey, I'm looking, for it's some people lay into some people too on the internet. That people are ruthless on the internet. So, but what I've learned is that, like I said, I'm not alone. I know there's others that are out there, but I'm not looking for that. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm not in the market like that. I'm not. I have a ministry to build. Um, go to the doctor. That's not something, like I said, I would, that's something you want the doc to do. Don't be pulling it out yourself. Some people pull the catheter out themselves. It's been known to happen. Patients just yank them out. So, oh my gosh. Yeah. Ask your doctor. They'll help you out. So, I need to go let these birds out, and I'm going to put some eggs. I got to eat eggs, guys. If I don't eat some of these eggs, I'm going to freaking go egg wild. We got the most amount of eggs we got all year so far, pretty much, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's people pull that. That's what I'm saying. There's a reason why there's a bubble in there, so don't come out. Thank you. All right. That's why I didn't want to go into all that. Oh, that's all I can think about when Sabrina said that. People pulling that thing out. Like trying to suck a garden ball, like a golf ball through a garden hose, man. That's not going to be a good time, man. Woo! Hey, hold on. You got that? Hey. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it at that. All right. Give me a minute. Let me go. You guys do whatever you need to do there for a minute. I'll be back. Thanks for your time, guys. Yeah, I got to go do the birds. I go let these birds out. So you're a handsome guy. Actually, we'll take you out there. You guys want to go see the birds? Let's go see the birds. We'll go see the birds. Let's go see the birds. Oh, wow. Get up. Get up. Oh, it's going to be a windy day. It looks like these next couple of days, it said it was going to get a little windy. It's a little windy out here. Little shot of the high desert here. Looks like some cloudy over there. Whenever we get it really nice. Oh, these are those grates that I was telling you that I got. Hi, look at this girl. Hi, girl. Hi, pretty sweet bee. She got her eye pecked, so she doesn't stay around the other birds. She stays out. She won't coop up. Hi, girl. Hi, my sweet girl. Hi, my pretty girl. Dad loves you. Always you're the first one out, huh? First one out. Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, here's our feed. This is the feed that I made. It's a pretty good feed. We're pretty full here. Come here, girl. Come here, sweet pea. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, sweet pea. There you go, my pretty girl. My pretty girl. My pretty girl. My pretty girl. You hear him in there? All right. Get these ladies and gentlemen fed. Yeah, that's good feed. It's going to be a good feed. All right, we're going to toss this out right here. Ready? We're going to toss this right here. Give them a spread. All right, I'm move that out of the way. Here they come. Oh, we're hung up on the nail. There's my pretty birds. Oh, my pretty birds. You pretty ladies, my cinnamon queens. My cinnamon queens. She laid another blue egg. She'll start laying regular. But aren't they pretty? Some pretty birds. They're doing good. They're doing good. All right, so let's go open up the door. Here's the, I'm gonna open this up, but they'll go through here. This is the doorway into their chicken coop here. So I take this here and lift this up. I built this little lip and it lays up like that. That's the I haven't put the little lever on it yet. I've been doing other things, but anyways, there's how they get into their little chicken coop there. So here's where the eggs are. But good birds. Thank you, ladies. Yep. So we've been working, like I said, a little busy out here. Apologize, a little windy today. So here we are out of the cabin. I'll show you. I put some more fencing up here. Take a quick look at this. What am I working on here? Put a little doorbell up here too. You like my new doorbell? It's my new doorbell. Look. It's my doorbell. I'll put that up there. It blew down over there, but oh, let's go over here and show you. This is this trailer load full of. There's that tower, the ham radio tower that I purchased that I've got up online for sale. It's got all the parts that go with it, but it's all this metal that I bought. This trailer load full of metal here. So there's all kinds of good stuff. Tin, all this, I took that tower off there, but all kinds of disc and bob wire, all the wire ties and all this stuff too. Look at all this. Just this whole thing is loaded with all these all thread. And look at this. I remember I told you, how much do you think that weighs? I think it weighs at least 350 pounds. That piece of chunk of steel right there. That's a monster. That's a big piece of steel. So I hustled that thing up on there myself. That hurt myself. So, all right, but anyways, here's what I've been working on, getting the rest of this fence. This is what it's looking like here. So we're getting there. Getting there. I put this fence up. I painted this fence green to match the other fence. I went and bought some paint when I was in town the other day. I'm not going to put this one here. Actually, I'm going to move this gate to the back. Right here. Right. So that one I got there's a big heavy Powder River gate. Yeah. This is the new gate area. Put the new gate up. And actually moved this the other day because this was over here, remember? And I moved this over here. I put this up here. So here's the entrance now with the gate, the new gate. So we got our little turbines spinning up here. One over there spinning. Coming along slowly. I got another few panels here, but it's windy. Man, I gotta go inside. It's flipping cold. Either words. There's the fence line. Actually, let me go outside on the other side. I'll show you because it's weathered on the other side. This is the side that's not weathered. It looks a little bit different on the other side. Obviously, I built this too because it's got this. There's out at the farm. Here's where the pivot right behind us here. Oh, this is Timothy hay. So, but here's the other end of it. See what I'm saying? The other end of it is it's all weathered. It's got a little bit different look. I like it from the other side, but I like this look too. From this side, got a little bit different appeal. So I put these ledges up here like this, you know, so you can set. I figure I'd end up putting some planters up here this year. I don't know, some annuals or something up there, some pretty annuals or something, in some pots, right, up on here. So, and then remember we used to have that old building, but I took that down and then I put this tin down here towards the entrance to give it kind of this look, a little bit different look here. So getting there. It's all just done from repurposed material, like I said. So I repurpose everything. Just the way I take stacks of material like this, all repurposed, and turn them into whatever you see here, or build UFOs, remember? So, all right, let's go inside. It's cold. Woo, that wind is cold. So, yeah, there's all the wire, all the stays, some tubing, you know. I got conduit. So, pretty good scrap. There's some aluminum in there. Got these and it looks like it's a tailgate or something, came off of something. But anyways, I'm a repurposed guy. I'll find something to do with it. There's that ham radio tower over there that I got. So I got more. I have to go pick up another trailer that I bought the other day. And I bought this. Oh, look at this awesome material. I'm going to use this for like cabling somewhere and fencing, or I figure I might use it in like if I put a top up here and run it, you know, and put a patio up there or something like that. So, and then that's all copper. Look at that. That's a copper, run a copper wiring there. That's a good find there. So, little shot at the desert here. So, let's go inside, man. It's freaking freezing. Hello. What you doing, birds? What you doing, ladies? What you doing, ladies? What you doing, ladies? Well, pretty girls. Let's go inside. My ears are freezing. All right, actually, let me get my cooler here real quick and I'll flip this around. Hi, girl. I'm gonna make some eggs. I got some sour cream and some cheese. Let's do that. That sounds good. That sounds bueno. Woo. Man, look at it. It's cold out today. But okay, so anyways, I got these two, which are nice. These metal grates, which will help you kick the dirt off your, you know. And then I got one up here too, see? One up front, and I put this one up here because I used to have a kind of a plastic one here. It's where you wipe your feet off or whatever, you know, keep the dust down. But anyways, let's go inside. Woo! Flipping right, boys. It is chilly Bob out there. Holy mackerel. Whew. What is up with my... I think my thing is dirty. Hold on. Well, there we go. All right, a little tour of what's been going on outside there. So, man, it's cold. Woo! My nose. So, thanks for taking a look. Like I said, I can only do what I can do out here. I'm just one dude. So, do what I can when I can. But I've been trying to get that fence done as much as I possibly can. I got a lot more work to do other than that. I've been doing other things other than that, but that's been a project of mine that I've been working on, and I'm happy with the results. I think it's a nice for the ministry. It's a nice fence line. It adds, you can still see out, see in. It's your ministry. Someday you get to come here and see, so I'm not really building this for me. Remember, one day I'm going to walk away from this, not, whatever. And I'm going to move, I'm going to go up the road and build a house over off of Bowen's, a big, house over there. But I could still have a place to stay here, but this is for the ministry. This all the labor I do out here is for the body. One day this will be a physical thing. I'm gonna keep working at it. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not. It doesn't have to be, but because if I don't accomplish it and die, it's not like, oh my gosh, I did. But at least I'll have tried. So. Oh yeah. But I love the idea of taking old material like that and repurposing it, turn it into something that'll last too. Hopefully that'll be around for a little while. All right, I'm gonna get myself something for break fast. Break fast. Okay. Man, I got more eggs than I know what to do with. More eggs than I know what to do with. That's a nice big egg there, boys. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So let me take a pause and cook myself some eggs. So I got some sour cream. Throw some sour cream under the plate, some cheese. Throw a few fresh eggs right out of the old off the farm here. Like I said yesterday, I got backed up. I got 6 eggs yesterday, so I'm gonna start getting 12 and 13 and 14 and 15. Boy, oh boy, I'm gonna start feeding them back to the chickens and to the puppy, huh? Let's start to get some puppy eggs for the puppies. We'll put them in there and put them in the breakfast. About time again to do that for the puppy. Where's Juniper? I haven't seen Juniper girl. Where's my little kitten girl? Where is my kitten? My kitten. Where is my kitten? All right, let's get this full of some sour cream. Oh yeah, there's a dollop right there, boys. There's a dollop. Oh yeah, our fire's going now. We got the fire going. Let's keep it going in here today. Well, that cold got my ears. All right, lots of sour cream. Lots of sour cream. Uno, dos, tres. One more. Uno más. All right, look, I'm gonna get my full of sour cream. I'm gonna put cheese on there. I got all that sour cream. I'm gonna put cheese on there. I'm gonna put my eggs right over the top of that. It's gonna be good. I made it the other day. It was excellent. It was excellent. Eggs, excellent. Get it? Pepper. Pepper on the eggs. A bit of garlic salt. A bit of seasoning salt. Put that back outside. Turn them bad boys over. All right, we got the cheese on top now of the sour cream. That'd be a big bed of sour cream there. Oh, yeah. All right, let's take these off now. Just like that. Good to go. Look at that. Over sour cream. Over sour cream and queso. So let's cut this bad boy up and get this done. Get some nutrition in the body here. Some protein. Yep, that's fabulous. Fabulous. A little dairy with the with the poultry here, huh? Nothing like some farm fresh eggs, cheese, and sour cream. That's a good combination. That's a good combo. You've never done that. How are we doing in our wood here? Let's turn down the wood stove. Potatoes and ground beef for my breakfast. Heck yeah, that's a good one. I like that. That's a heck of a breakfast. Heck of a breakfast. Take a break from the fast and get eating again, huh? Okay, so again, I made a mention. I don't know if anybody's getting what I've been putting down here, but I really don't hear any channels on the internet talking about what I've been bringing up. As far as an exit strategy out of your precious metals, if you want to pull profit on it, there might come a time where you can't. At least not back for dollars, which is a good thing. Never thought about it. It kind of forces people's hand. Think about what they're going to do. Man. That's good stuff. Thank you, Father, for good food. Good food. Look at that bite. Oh my goodness. Those are farm fresh eggs. Look at the color of that yolk. Look at the color of that yolk. Whoa. Whoa. That was the best bite yet. So I don't get every cycle right. I just look at things that have happened in the past, and there's a probability of them happening again. And that's where I'm going with this, what I'm seeing. Oh, cheesy that is. I kind of like cheese. flip that around there. Thank you, Father. Again, for all things. Mm-hmm. This is fire. Oh, that sour cream on that. All right. I can't eat it all. I just can't. Oh. Even though it's yummy. Look at my little melon plant that I'm growing. Last night when I went to bed, that right there, put that in there to see how much it would grow overnight, was right there. Last night, that right there, where I went to bed, was right there. This is my little crazy melon, weird melon that I got. That I got the seeds. I've got the other ones going, but none of them have sprouted yet. So this one's going. Woo! About ready to repot that little guy, huh? Or girl, excuse me. Hopefully female. So that's my little melon plant. So we got some more. Got a pepper plant, but it hasn't come out. Got yeah, overnight. It was about that much overnight. So oh yeah. Heck yeah. So I'm gonna keep nurturing. Like I said, today I got to get off my fourth point of contact here and get some more seeds started. I showed you guys them. I got the trays, some trays and stuff ready the other day. I don't know, something came up. I did something else. I get like that sometimes. Just get to be something came up. Priority farm duties came up or something. So, but I need to start those. I need to start all those, at least get them going and get them in some, some napkins. Paper napkins seem to work the best, for me when I've ever done it. And I've done it on toilet paper. I've done it on cloth. I've done, I've started germinated seeds several different ways. But the best luck I've ever had always is on just paper towels. Oh, more light went down. So yeah, I got to get that done. That's my priority today for sure. I got to get those started because they take sometimes a week, or two or whatever to germinate out, or so. Some things I probably won't germinate. Like it's hard to germinate lettuce seeds and stuff. Yep, I always use paper towels. I just whatever. I mean, I don't have paper towels, but I get napkins or whatever. But I used to use paper towels. I don't care if they were white or not. It didn't matter if they were white and there were print on them. What? What do you want? What do you want? What are you wanting? No kisses. You just need some love. You just need some lovins. Just need some love. Just coming over to get some lovins from Dad. No kisses. You keep that tongue in your mouth. No kisses. No kisses. No kisses. I think it's finally starting to warm up in here a little bit. Come on. Take the foam cups out. It's so hard to get this thing to sit in this cradle. What is going on over here? Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Apologize. Oh, getting a little bumpy in here. What are you doing, bud? Yep, Dad's gonna have to get some starts going here soon. Today, some more. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and try to purchase a few. You know what I'm saying? The geese are flying back to the camera. Nice. It looks like it might be an early spring, and we're supposed to get a super El Nino. A super El Nino this year. So could be some crazy weather. A lot of that Pineapple Express. Thought I'd get Stoner's connection attention. But the Pineapple Express brings a lot of that stuff off that pineapple belt down there and brings all that moisture up in through the Gulf down there and all that, down in the Pacific Ocean, brings all that moisture. So could be an eventful. Oh, hi, buddy. What? He's gonna come up and talk to me, say hi. What do you want? You just want to be with the dad? Just want to be with the dad? Just want to be with the dad. Just want to be with the dad. You're a good boy today. You're being a good boy. You're being the best guy I ever had. All the single guys I ever did have in my single puppy life. It's so silly. He's sitting right there. He's right there. Okay, but again, I've got myself a little bit under a timeline now, so I need to use my time. Hey, what are you doing? You came and just sat on my lap. What are you doing, man? You're stealing the show. You're stealing the show. You're stealing the show. Are you little ants in your pants today or what? You got ants in your pants? You got ants in your pants? You have ants in your pants? He's got ants in his pants. You got ants in your pants? You have ants in your pants. What are you doing? You're just walking all over Dad. My dog is weird. He's a strange cunt. He's a strange one. He's a silly bone. Don't you kiss me. I see what you just tried to do. That's not going to work. So he's got an ants in his pants today. He can't settle. Would you settle down for a little bit? He loves his dad. He just loves the dad. You're such a good boy. He's such a good guy. Such a good boy. So, okay, again, I'm looking at here in the next, I think here in the next week or two, I'm going to have to try to figure something out. I want to try to figure out how to get these funds secured to get this ministry taken care of. I'll figure out the house thing later. It gives me, 3 months to give me a little bit of cushion to try to figure out how I'm going to come up with the funds for that. And I'll cover that bridge when I get there. I mean, I'll be in the, not the dog days, but it'd be nice and warm then. Summer, we'll be in summer and I can be able to operate, move around a little bit, a little easier, have people, network people in the summer a lot easier out here than it is in the winter months because it just, where I live is just so far out and that kind of stunts some things during the winter months. But hopefully, again, spring is in the air, like Sabrina said, and I'll be able to cover that bridge when I get there. So I'm looking forward to. I spoke with the planning commissioner the head planning commissioner over the phone the other day, and he said that they have me on for April. They do like a statement, you've got to show up, and they question if anybody has any objections or whatever, and it's kind of formality, but it means that it's moving forward. They got my packet, they looked through it, it was all filled out so far correctly. They accepted my site plan. They're going to get some information now together. They have to gather information once I pay. That's what I'm paying them all this money for too. So put that together, and then I think my next deal is like a $2,000 check or something like that. So that's my next one, and then I've got to get a check for $2,500 for the electric company, and have the conduit and ready to go. So that's going to be my first move. Hopefully in the next, he said in April. So if I could accept it in April, maybe by the end of April, I could have power out here, guys. That'd be crazy. And an address, to think from being off grid all these years to actually having power and a physical address out here, which would, again, this is beautiful for the ministry. Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So the Bowens property, I'm not going to put my property on the others. I don't know if I'm going to go on the grid on that property. I'll probably put septic in over there, but I don't think I'm going to put power in over there off of Bowens. So I still have to pay the property off before I can ever do improvements to that property, that type of improvements. But yeah, I mean, here we go. Boom, that's done. Then again, the next big one is the septic. The septic is expensive. Septic is about $4,000 to $5,000, $4,500 to $5,000 total to put the whole project in. You know what I'm saying? That's not even including excavation. That's just material. And that's not even including the $750 final inspection on the tank itself too. That's just the one to have them come out. You dig 3 holes, test holes. They check the leach, how long it takes for it to leach out. And yeah, from there you can dig your lines, and then that's what I'm saying. So hopefully it'll move, and then maybe by May or June I'll have septic in. And then, like I said, then that's July, August, September. That'll give me those months to figure out how to secure funding for the house. So I think it's time to make my move, and whatever I'm going to do here, because I've already moved forward, and see if I can, even if I have to take a loss on this investment, just do it. Just take the loss, bite the, what, or whatever, like, and something in my ear. That's from being outside, going out in that cold. It's just windy. Got that wind in my ear. But yeah, so here we go. Moving forward, I'm looking forward to that. And again, I'm hoping that, again, I won't be mad if the price of the metal that I've invested in goes, triple. What do I do? I don't think at that point in time you're gonna have a hard time selling it. You could trade for it and things like that, but you know what? I don't want to risk it. This isn't some risk thing. I'm not trying to play some crapshoot. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of hard labor invested in what that I have in that investment. So if it's time to, pull it. So what? If I don't make as much, oh well, I'll have to make it up. Maybe somebody will contribute from this ministry. They don't have to, but maybe somebody, like I said, I had one person, that helped. They're paying for half the address to get the address out here. I put that money, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It doesn't matter if I take a loss, because at least I'll be started. I mean, the loss that I'm going to take is probably 10%, and that's a pretty big loss, or more. That's not a small hit, but oh well. It's better than losing it all, so to speak. What if I can't? What if the price of metal goes to $500 and there's nowhere to sell it. And then nobody's gonna accept no, $100 when silver's $500 for it. You know what I mean? That's when I think there's going to be a pause. A pause. I'm not saying it's going to be, but there's going to be a pause. Where are you going to sell that metal? When silver went up to $121 last time, it nearly shut down every local coin shop across the United States. They just couldn't afford to buy the metal at that price. Not when people are bringing in 100 ounces, 200 ounces, 300 ounces, 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? It gets to where you drain out your overhead, your bank. You ever run a business, you have to have a bank. Well, imagine the bank that a coin shop has to have because they're paying, but they don't have that much. So, again, that's my thoughts. Is I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and I won't be mad. We'll laugh together, okay, guys? If the metal goes up to like $300 or something, and they're still open, and we'll just laugh. I go, oh, thank you, Father, for But I think the timing is everything on this, and I want to make sure that I've thought this out, like I said, and that's why I called around and called multiple places that I've done business with in the past, and talked to them on how in the past when they had their run up of 121, were they selling anybody, or was anybody selling their metal for the $121, and none of them paid any more than $95, $6, $7, $8, $9. Once it hit 100, they couldn't purchase it for that rate. It's just too expensive. It wasn't too that it was also too expensive, and it was, but the market was going up too fast. So the market's held right now. It's kind of consolidated. I don't think we'll see metal go down below $75. It started the year out at 75 this year, here into March or whatever, but it started the year out at $75. So what I'm trying to do again is, as I look at this, as we, do this mission creep into this war or two, I think it's going to be harder to source material. I do. And it some things could go down in cost, but like I said, availability. You might not be able to get some of the things here. Remember the supply chain shortages during the VidCo, the whole, debacle, the masquerade that we went through. There was a lot of supply chains, and we're doing that again. That's the thing that people don't realize, is we're cutting our ties with China. I told you already earlier in this stream, this whole thing is about China. And this is where we're cutting our ties. And so we're going to have to learn, tough this out. So it might be much harder to source some product, what I'm saying, unless it's made right here in the U.S. And I don't know if these tanks, where they're made or where the septic line is from. So those are my two major things that I have to, purchase right now, is the septic tank, which is about $2,500, and the lines, which I think a little over $1,000 or something like that, for the lines, for the leach lines. So fittings, plumbing, some of that other, there's miscellaneous, just like with the electric, the 90 to go down and 90 going up the pole, and some of these other, we got to have all the fittings to make the connections. So again, hoping by May, June, we'll have the power in here and start working and getting that septic to be hopefully done by then, and then I can start figuring out, well, how the heck am I going to build a house out here? So I'm going to go down and speak with the planning, or give them a call via telephone, or I'd like to set up some kind of meeting with them and talk with them and see if I can figure out what kind of materials that I can source. Because if I can source reclaimed materials, tell them, look, I like reclaimed. I like the idea of using barred wood and, older material that's actually much better material than what you can get today. So if they'll allow me to do that, then I'm going to go hog wild on trying to collect myself a good supply of 2x6s. 2x6s and 2x8s is what I need to build a house. I'm not going to probably do the inside of the house. I'm going to do studio, and I'm not going to build that big of a cabin. I've kind of decided it shouldn't be very big. It'd just be easier to heat and easier to cool too, so to speak. So no bigger than 12 by 30. I think that's the biggest that I'm going to try to go, 12 by 30. I think that's what in my head I've that's not a super big building. So um, not super long, not super wide, just a standard size, shotgun size, building, more of a 12 by, what I mean? That's size, that's a style or whatever, but freaking rights, man. That'll be exciting too, to build out the house here. I've kind of decided if I can find something stupid cheap, I'll get it just to not have to do it. But it doesn't make any sense not to build a house. I can build. Why would I not? You know what I mean? A lot of the reasons why people buy a house is they can't build one. They just don't know how. They don't have a background in any framing or any kind of electric or plumbing, nothing. They just don't have it. And so that's okay. I do. So why not use my labor skills and just build myself a nice small cabin, something meager but nice. So I'll make it look good. I'll make it look Western style. That's the style that I'm going to do it. And I have that tin that I bought. I'm thinking about using that tin as the siding. Even though I'd love to use it for roofing, I think it's going to make beautiful siding, just gorgeous siding. That big, thick metal that I have, it's thick. It's like 3 times as thick as the regular tin that I have. It's that longer, bigger. I don't know if you ever. I don't think you've seen it. I don't show it, but it's a bigger. These are long and I like 10, maybe 10 sheets, maybe 6 or 7 sheets. I don't think I have 10, 6 or 7 sheets, and it's thick. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, but you know what I mean. So I'll do what I can. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Again, just one step at a time. Don't try to bite off more than I can chew. That's what I figured. Don't. Oh my guys, I got to take off this. Finally starting to warm up in here. It got down pretty cold last night. I don't believe how cold it was. I went out today's first part. In the 20s, it was 25, I think. Yeah, it was the 20s. But it's just March. We ain't got to April yet. I didn't plan on anything break until May, so. But yeah, I think that's how we can get this accomplished out here, by just taking it in steps. So I'm glad that I was able to get a hold of the planning commissioner the other day and talk with him, and not waste his time. I talked with a little bit of detail, but not, they didn't waste. I don't feel like I wasted any of his time. So, I don't know. I don't get excited about too many things because the physical bores me to death. Physical is just, it's just dirt. But for the ministry, I can get excited for the ministry. So I'm excited to get, to know that all the paperwork went through properly, or at least for now. And I always have such difficult times when it comes to paperwork. I had to fill out some paperwork just the other day, and 3 times the people had to call me back. 3 times. So it's always like that. Anything when I deal with digital or computer, so um, I was thinking that there could be a bit of a delay, but I made sure I did a lot of homework and filled out the paperwork twice. Said just do it once. Remember, I had to go back and do it again. So, but I believe I got it done correctly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't mind paperwork because I've done a lot of paperwork in my day. Paperwork's not, I was a police officer. stacks of paperwork. But boss, payroll, hire, manager, paperwork, so I don't need the paperwork. I need to make the paperwork. The dead presidents, I'm saying I need to get the dead presidents to work for me right now. So, um, hallelujah. Thank you, Father, that I worked hard and that I was able to secure some kind of, like I said, you know, um, we did get the one donation, but I put it in dimes and I can't sell those. So that's the other, I'll have some dimes left over when I do this. And it's okay because that will be something for later. Like I said, dimes, or it's not like you're going to get rich off of dimes. And I'm not trying to get rich or anything of the sort. So it'd be nice, to actually get some of the physical labor done out here too. I mean, and feel comfortable with what's coming because I know what's coming down the pipe. I'm not some kind of prophet, but I see it plain as day. More crackdown, door to door, and if you're not in line, they're going to come down and start fining you. I mean, we got a national debt that's been rising at $1 trillion every hundred days, and they're not able to pay it off. So they're going to start making more taxes in this country, and they'll figure out more ways to tax people. Tax doesn't always have to be a tax. It could be a fine. A fine. If you're not in line and compliant, then you get fined. And then if you don't pay your fine, that's a tax, right? So people forget there's lots of ways they can tax people. So, and people aren't looking at it that way. I'm looking at this country as in free fall, collapse, financial free fall. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna go on. It would probably be me. It would probably be me that I get the power out here, right? Installed and everything, and then we'll have an EMP, or something. The power will go down. But whatever, I don't live like that. I don't live like it's the end of the world. I don't. 20 years ago, I got in a little bit of a, mindset of kind of a doom and gloom, but I didn't live in that stage long. I realized that's not, I was already a veteran, what I'm saying? I'd always prepared us, but I got a little bit of that doom and gloom mindset. But then I realized that this is not coming to an end in my lifetime. So I need to prepare for that. You know what I'm saying? That it's going to be hard until then. The end in your lifetime is an easy out. That's a quick fix. Oh, you got hit by smashed it like into the windshield like a bug. Oh, it's all over. Well, that's the easy route. What if it doesn't happen like that? What if you go a long time and it's real difficult? That's how I work. You know what I'm saying? I don't think like it's the end of the world. You know, I think it's just going to get more difficult. Doesn't that mean that I can't thrive? I can't thrive in that environment while others are barely hanging on by a string, just barely surviving. If I put myself in the right position, I will be able to thrive and help others in that time. So all the labor, the fruits of my labor will come to fruition. So I don't think it's in vain. Like I said, I just move on from it. But um, it's been all, like I said, 10 years in the making. So this has been a long process already. It's not like I just decided to do this yesterday. I decided to do this 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I'm, 10 years in the making. So it's not like, you know, things don't happen overnight. I don't expect anything to happen overnight. So I know that if I take this in steps and don't bite off more than I can chew, I'll accomplish this because that's how I have to do things. So, but I'm making some other steps right now. I filed for Social Security. I have an appointment coming up. I am going to pursue that. Why not? I don't get veterans benefits. I don't get disability. I don't get I don't get that. So I have to, work for what I have. So why not, and I feel like I didn't have PTSD until they came and did what they did to me and my son and my daughter. and my life will never be the same, ever. I don't care if one day I do find my son. They're never going to take back what they did to my eye, my ears, my chest, So, my life will never be the same. What they took from me can never be given back to me. It doesn't monetary. That's why I'm glad I didn't chase the monetary. Because I could be sitting on millions of dollars right now. If I would have sued, heck yeah. Do I regret not suing? No, not at all. No, not at all. Am I happy that I postponed it and allowed myself to try to be the judge? Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm not, but I still feel like I have integrity that I didn't take from anybody. I'm not making my gain off of somebody else's tax dollar, their back, that I didn't earn just because they wrecked me and hurt my son and my daughter, or whatever happened. Doesn't mean that two wrongs don't make a right. So I'll continue to grind until I die, and I'll earn it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Build it from the ground up, just like I've always done everything. So, but I see a future. I see years from now, and that's something that I need, that I haven't had in a while, because I do get hyper focused at times. Not that I don't think of that, but I see my life in the future, years from now, past this time, which is good. Father has done that to me since I was young. I'm not some prophet and can see, have visions and things like that. But if I see something immovable coming, I can see it years in advance. So it's not like I get this vision. I see it every stinking day. Once he puts it in front of me like a roadblock, there's no going around it, no way to avoid it. So that's the way Father puts things in my life. So I'm glad that I can see past this time that we're in right now. And um, it's not an easy time, but it's prosperous. It's the fruits of my labor are not going to be in vain. They won't be in vain either way, but you know what I'm saying, that they're not going to be worthless. So, and it will come together. So if I do it in stages and I don't uh, overwork myself like I did, and I've done it before. Look, I overworked myself and broke my back because I just didn't take the time to set up pulleys and you know and take the time to do it the way it probably should have been done. I just did it the hard way, grunted it out, you know, grinded it out, and then ended up hurting myself. So I don't want to do that again. Uh, Especially if I can see into the future, I know I need to pace myself. So I'm trying to be an example of that too for others. You need to not go too fast, not go too slow. One speed if you can. Don't. I can get excited, absolutely, but you know, if I'm ever going to make it to the other side of this, knowing that maybe someday I'll see my son again, and it's going to take time because apparently he's super mad at me, you know, but I don't think he's alive, but that's fine. I mean, I can't change what Father has already. It's not fine. I mean, I just can't change what Father has already. So um, I'm glad I've been able to move forward from this. It'll be with me forever, though. I'll never be the same man that I was prior to what they did to my son and daughter and myself. So, am I mad at them? Not the least. I'm just not happy with that. I maybe could have performed a little bit differently, but I don't have any regrets. I know what I did was right. So, it's costing me dearly. Things you don't even know. None of you would even have any idea. Things I don't discuss. Just tremendously the cost it cost me to not monetarily, just in life to Father could have made it so different, but he chose to make it this way, harder. Like I told you, harder, not easier, much harder. So it doesn't surprise me. There's no surprises in my life. Not too many, not like that. Like I said, I can most of the time it's like an immovable object that I see coming and I can't get out of the way. So it just whatever. I've learned that with Father. So, um, but yeah, exciting times. again, I'm not sure uh, what here the next week or two. I don't, you know, um, what's going to happen with this, invasion of Iran, but it doesn't look like it's going to end in the next. He's saying it's the end, but every time this current administration says one thing, they backpedal and do something the next day. So you would probably be better to take what this current commander, the pedo and queef, and take the opposite of what he says. Do the exact opposite, or a Democrat. I mean, I don't do none of this. So the donkey and the elephant show over. You know, and I prepare for this as much as I can, and whatever happens, happens. I'm not gonna. I don't want to get involved in any of it like that. Actually, I've taught everybody at this ministry as much as I can to go around the system. Don't be fighting people for food when you could have already grown it or bought it, and had it now. So, um, yep, I think I'm going to go ahead and take a loss, about a 10% haircut on what I have. But so what? Like I said, what if I couldn't get any of this out of this investment? It won't go to zero, but it might not be able to be sold. It truly has a much higher probability, in my opinion, of going up. So why would you get rid of it now? Because I need this right now, because I need to buy these products for the ministry right now. I want to buy them and set them here and have them sitting here, put them under a tarp until I'm ready for them. You know what I mean? I don't want some kind of deal happen like during the COVID or something happen with Iran and then do some kind of restrictions where I can't continue to work out here. That'd be the best time, kind of like the VidCo, to shut the gates and continue working, just continue what I'm doing out here. Because again, I don't think the world's coming to an end like everybody thinks it's going to come to an end, and it's Mad Max, and that's not going to happen. Not it'll be a controlled demolition. So, what are you doing, buddy? So, either way, again, I just wanted to come in here and see if anybody else sees what I see, and sees that you might have a problem getting out of your metals. Probably not so much in gold right now. Hallelujah. Gold's gold, right? So the gold standard. But if silver gets too high priced, you're not going to be able to have that ability to exit back into a paper asset. A paper currency. It's not an asset. So I don't want to get stuck. So if I take a haircut, oh what? Oh well. So again, I'm going to have to try to do something in the next week or two. And I'm hoping that it doesn't overshoot too quick. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like metals were up today. Metals were up a couple bucks, $2-3 or something, $2.40 when I looked last. So be a good time, like I said. If you have I'm not giving economic advice or investment advice, but if you bought in at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, even at 85, that's 25. What kind of percent gain? That's a big gain. So it's never wrong to pull your profit out and sit on the rest if you need to, and hold on for dear life. And when the market runs its cycle, you're not going to change it. It's the big supply who changes the price of metals. It's the paper price that changes the price of metals, not the consumer. Not yet. There's just not enough consumer demand right now. And so, good. Well, like I said, I'm not sure if you guys understand what I'm saying, but I see this coming, and I hope I'm wrong. But won't that be the day when I come back in here and say, hey guys, see, you can't, they put a pause on it. The price of metal got too high, too fast, too quick, and it scared the crap out of the dealers, and they're not buying it anymore because it's too big of a risk. That's the problem with silver, that people don't really they don't look at it, and they're undereducated, is that it thrashes around a lot more than gold. Gold normally leads out, but then its little brother silver catches up and thrashes around. makes higher highs and lower lows. So that's what we're seeing right now. All this moving around. There's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and $10. It was $10 days in silver. $10 days where it went up and down within that $10 bracket. So we're seeing kind of a consolidation right now in the markets. With the precious metals markets, gold obviously, stretching back up to that all-time high, and I know silver's not anywhere near the 121, but remember it started the year out at 75. Last year, at the beginning of the year, I think it was something like 25, $30. So it is outperformed every asset class in 2025, and could very well do it in 2026. It doesn't look like it right now because it's not even sitting at what the all-time high in silver is $121. It's sitting at what, 87. So it's got some catching up to do once again to its own all-time high, irregardless if it's trying to catch up with gold or not. So very interesting times to um, witness such a teeny tiny, $900 billion market cap in silver. What's the derivative market, like $3 quadrillion or something. Even if a fraction of that derivative market tried to move into the silver or gold market, it would just blow the top of these metals off. That could happen. And then again, I don't think you'd be able to find a home for it until we saw the government come in and subsidize these coin shops, pawn shops, or buyers online and say, hey, buy the metal at this price, fixed rate, and we'll buy it from you. Ship it out. We'll send you checks, and there'll be a premium for you in there. And I think that's where we're headed in the future. So you're not going to be able to sell $200 silver to no coin shop or pawn shop. They just won't buy it. It will be too. If we did this over time, slowly over time, but these run-ups as fast like that last one, it's not natural. And like I said, higher highs, lower lows, just too big of a risk for a precious metal dealer to be buying in on something that is moving up way too fast. They can't keep buying that. It's risky for them. That's a huge risk. And people don't look at that and what could happen in the future. Like, oh, well, what do you mean? I've not heard one other person on the internet talking about coin shops closing down if the price of metal goes up. I know. But guess what? It already happened. I ain't making any predictions. I'm not a prophet. I'm telling you what happened in the past and what I could see happening again. But most people don't even know what happened the first time. Kind of like the Star of David. That happened again. Hadn't happened for 2,600 years. Nobody knows that happened. Just there are certain things that slip by the general public. They're just too busy working, go do the masses, and ones at home sitting on their what. So most people don't take the time to discern. So again, I think in the future, if metals go up over again and get overpriced like they did, the coin shops aren't going to buy it from you. It's not going to matter the price of metal because you can't sell it. Then that's not. Something's only worth what you can sell it for. You could say it's worth this, but if nobody wants it for that price, then it's not worth that. And what something's worth today, as opposed to what something's worth in a week from now, a month from now, are two different prices. Well, there is. When I talked about people, I have a today price. This is what I'll buy it for today. And you don't come back today. No, that's a today only price. Next week's going to be a different price. A month from now is going to be a different price. So, people don't understand. Like I said, the precious metal sector is a teeny tiny market, and not too many people take the time to even look at how this sector works. So the whole commodities exchange is a paper contract where you're basically doing a musical chairs, pulling away chairs, like 300 people chasing one pie, the same, all thinking that that's their pie or that's their ounce of silver. 300 paper contracts chasing one piece of physical metal. This can't go on forever. It's like I said, it's like a cakewalk. It's like going to a carnival, and it will end. When the music stops. Remember? So, whatever That's what I'm saying. People won't see this, and then who's going to be holding, and who's going to be, So that's what I thought. I might, have this stuff later, but if I can't sell it, it's no different than to me laying next to a 500-ounce gold bar, and I don't have no rice and beans. That gold bar ain't doing crap for me. I need it to work for me. So what if I lose a little bit of my labor? At least I didn't keep it in paper dollars, which I kind of need and would have probably been okay. But no, I like I said, I'll take my haircut because I think that the money has been inflated like crazy. So it wouldn't even, like I said, even if I cost average and lose a small percentage, so what? At least I can make the money do what I need it to do for me now. So that's that is the preparedness mindset that I'm having right now. Make it work for you, and in the future, hopefully again, if I can get back in and invest back again. But I can't invest in anything right now but this ministry. I took the time to invest in these in the small amount of precious metals that I have, but that's when I was focused on that. I haven't bought any precious metals in I don't know how long. It's been a while. I just can't, actually the last one I bought was that silver bullet. Remember I bought that, I showed it to you guys, that silver bullet round or bar, and it was way overpriced. It's like $88, you know. They wouldn't even give me $88 for that right now. See what I'm saying? There's a little bit of a disconnect. So some of the stuff I'm in a little lower, some of it, so cost average, that's what I'm thinking. Even if I take a haircut of 10% right now, so what? So what? At least I'll have the funds. And then don't hesitate. Don't wait. As soon as I get that money, go buy the septic tank. $2,500. Bam, gone. Go buy the conduit that I need. Probably another $150, $200, gone. Elbows, $300, gone. It will add up quick. It won't last, like I said, but it'll give me the things that I need to get this septic in, get the power in, and pay for the permits. I won't have the money for the housing, but oh well. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So I would have liked to have collected more metal, but I've been doing other things out here. I put my time and effort in other things. So if I was hyper focused on it, I'm sure I could have a lot more, but I don't want to get hyper focused. I like to have a life, and still work for what I have, and and not involve myself so deep into something that I can't distinguish the forest from the trees because I'm either way too far in or way too far out. So again, exciting, 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 exciting. I really am. It's good to be inspired. I get my down days. I get tired. I get sore or whatever, but I get up. I work. You see, I've been working out here. Been busting my what, and it's coming along. I'm excited again for them to in April get this 100% approved, and then I could wait until April and see what happens to the price of metal to see if they approve me, but I don't think like I said, I don't see any hang up. Um, the hang up would be if somebody had like a 2-story building around me or 3, or whatever, and I'm not zoned properly, or I don't think the hang up is probably more in town with people. I'm way away from people. My zoning is not going to affect anybody else. It's just kind of a formality. So I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. But again, I'm thinking by April, the price of metal could be, and this is a possibility as well, which I don't think is going to happen. It could go back down to $50. We could deflate. We could go into a deflationary period where things get super expensive, like gas and electric, but certain things will, and it's happened before. Most times during a recession or depression, metals go up. But at first, as everything recedes, recession or depression, they come down with it at first. So we could see it pull itself back down to $50, and then I wouldn't have the money to do this. So that's what I'm saying. I can short myself a little bit right now and try to pull whatever profit I have it's, you know, and start buying the material that I need, or sit on it and wait, and then it could go up, and then I can't sell it because it gets too high priced, which happened before, or the metal goes down and it halves, you know, and then I don't have any. I'm in a bad position at that point. Not that I can work myself out of it. It's not the end of the world. I would just have to hustle and get more things sold. So this takes a little bit of a stress off of me. You know, I'd like to keep every penny of it and figure out another way to come up with the money. I just don't have it right now. I just don't. I sold too many of my assets in the last couple years. Remember, I just paid not that long ago $25,000 for an attorney. So, you know, my son's whatever bail is $25,000. You know, I had to put up some bail money. Remember all this, you know. So, you know, it's been an expensive couple years for me. So, um, if people wouldn't steal my precious metals from me, I could do this 3 times over, I'm sure, and still probably buy a tractor. But Father just wants people to have face judgment on the other end for what they done to me. Uh, so, like I said, what a neat, interesting time. Not to have to drive all the way town 12 miles to get my mail. I'd only have to drive 5, 24, or 10. I'll take the 10-mile trip. You know what I mean? So I put a mailbox at the end of the highway. It's 5 miles down the road, but a mailbox at the end of the highway, I get that with my address. So that saves a little bit of, you know, like I said, that saves, you know, probably wouldn't just go to town to just check my mail, but if I had something coming and I didn't need to go to town, I ain't going to town. I mean, to go to my P.O.Box. So, and things like, I run into it a lot, guys. I really do a lot, whether you realize it or not, because I live off the grid and I don't have an address. It's like yesterday, I was on the phone with somebody filling out paperwork, and they're like, "What do you mean you don't have an address?" I'm like, "I don't have a physical address. I have a P.O. box." Like, how could you not have an address? But you live somewhere. I don't have an address. So once I have an address, it changes a lot of things too. Like I said, things like, you know, I could have FedEx come here and deliver me a package. I don't buy anything. I don't buy anything. But you know what I'm saying? UPS will come here. I can't have them come here. I can't get anything delivered here. I don't have an address. So I can't order certain things online because I don't have a physical address. So sometimes they, you know, it's like a driver's license. You have to have physical address, right? I'm using an old address, you know. So what can I do? I don't have a physical one. I'm using an old one. So I told them that. They're like, okay, well, whatever. That's fine. Like, okay, so you know, I mean, I don't live there anymore, but I don't have a physical address. Well, we have to have a physical address. Well, I don't have, well, okay, here you go. So, um, lots of little things like that too, which make us it just things that through the years, you know, there's been a little bit of a hang up that just kind of eases, which is good for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sit there and grind, you know, and everything be difficult that I have to do. Can't some things, you know, without so much stress, and not the stress, but the, you know, the grind, the hard, you know, and I don't mind the hard way, but it'd be nice if things would work without having to go back and do them 3 or 4 or 5 times, and not by my error. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel good because I feel like, you know, I've got some inspiration to you know, get myself past this point so that I can, you know, like I said, I want to move on with my life and um, start enjoying life more. Go fishing more. Go hiking more. And stop enveloping my every single day into building and fixing, and you know, and all this, you know, whatever. I don't care about the monetary, you know, because it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. But you know, all that is just is boring to me. Like I said, it doesn't give me the excitement. But as knowing that this will help the ministry, and knowing that this will, you know, be a huge part of what again I think will eventually be able to make this turn into a physical ministry. for real. You know, like I said, I really think that I will be able to get people coming out here if I have power on this property. You know what I'm saying? People don't like flushing toilets. People don't like living like that. That's fine. Not everybody needs to live like I live. But in the future, like what I was saying is, I'm not getting younger either. So it'd be nice to have some, amenities before I pass on. I'm not passing on anytime soon, but I'm just saying to live to reap some of the benefits. You know what I'm saying? Take some of that labor, and now I got a flushing toilet. Wow, man, that's pretty awesome. Not have to, you know. So I don't like flushing toilets at all. But for 15 years, I've used a flushing toilet or a composting waterless toilet. I think it's time for me to go ahead and be able to use a flushing toilet again for a little bit. For a little bit, especially when I'm sore or whatever I'm working on, I'm not going to take advantage. I won't. I got to fill the water tank up until I dig a well. So I will not go in there and just pee in that toilet. No way. You have to be a deuce. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be, I'm not just going to go in there and use a toilet because it's convenient. I wouldn't do it that anyway. So, and I'm the type of guy, I don't flush the toilet at night. I might have to get up 3 or 4 times at night and pee. So I pee into the bowl. I shut the lid when I'm done. And sorry, lady, apologize, ladies, but I'm a guy, whatever, but I don't flush the toilet at night. If I have a toilet, I pee 3 or 4 times in the toilet. You know what I'm saying? And then I flush it when I wake up before I normally have a bowel movement. So, and I know I'm flushing it again when I shouldn't, but I don't want to take a deuce and have the yellow splashback. The blue splashback is my biggest fear, so yellow splashback, no thank you. And it's not like I can't take 2, and I haven't done before, to take a couple things of toilet paper and lay it on the top, but then I don't want to waste toilet paper. So, but that's how I work. I'm a minimalist, you know what I'm saying? So things like that I'm not just going to waste it because I have it. I don't just, it's the first of the month, So that's how people are. They just, if it's there, they'll use it. They don't care. Like I said, I've seen it. You should see people. It's why you put a kid in jail and watch people use, a roll of toilet paper a day by themselves or more. The hell are you doing? A roll of toilet paper will last me a long time. Not long, but a lot longer. If I don't have a lady in the house, it will. Whew, man, I go through so much toilet paper when ladies live with, in the house. But oh well, just part of having the lady live with you. Gotta have extra TP for when ladies, they got more things to wipe and just whatever. They just always wiping something. But again, how cool, guys? How cool is this to at least be ahead of what's going on? So I hope I make the right decision here. You know what I'm saying? And I know it'll be, because if I can pull any profit, or or at least gain what I got back or a little bit less, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Have all this to the side, get all this stuff that I need. It'd be so nice to have all those things sitting out here, to have the septic, the lines, the conduit, everything I need, except for the house. Because then I can start focusing on the house. Like, okay, well, whatever, I'll just buy one board at a time, flip it. Who cares? Whatever, $5 a board, I'm buying it. There's one board towards the house. I'll do it that way. I'll grind it out that way if I have to. One board at a time. I've done stuff like that before in my life. Whatever, like I said, to do it honestly, don't be a thief, grind it out, work it the hard way, and get it. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this one up and go online, respond to a couple people, and I appreciate your time. I just thought I'd come in here first part of the day share some time with you and show you what it is that I see. Once again, just a real quick recap is that, I don't think you're going to be able to move your precious metals if they get overpriced again. That's going to be an inconvenience for you. You'll probably have to hold on to it. I don't know how long. Days, weeks, months, it could be years. I don't have years to wait, or even months if you think about it. So I'm hoping that this is the right move. Father will inspire me to do whatever it is that I do. Um, and thanks for tracking the progress with me, guys. Just one step at a time, one day at a time out here. So um, glad to have inspiration. Thanks for Sabrina, all the good comments. Appreciate your support of the ministry. And come back again when you have some more time, and we'll talk about some more things that are going on. I'm really concerned about the this Iran thing too. I want to get this stuff bought in here before things progress with that. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but they can start doing some kind of a cutoffs of supply chains and things like that. So I want all this stuff done before any of that takes, final whatever. I think we're involved in a long war now. You know what I'm saying? Or we're not in some. It's not going to be quick. Like he just heard, he's going to. We're done. We finished them. We to destroy their navy. No, we didn't. So don't believe this propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep preparing. Stay in that preparedness mindset. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So if you want to fail, then don't do anything. So, okay, guys, links are in the description. Cash App and PayPal if you want to help support the ministry monetarily. It's not required. Once again, you can't print time. You can go make more money, and you can print money if you're good enough at it, like the central banks. But you can't print time, and you can't make time. Hard to even make it up. It's going so quick. So thank you for all the time you spent here, and come back when you have some more time that you can spend with me and here with the brothers and sisters in the narrow way. So I'll see you guys again on the next HD Fat. HD not for high definition, HD for the high desert. So fat is for faith and truth, and fat's the best part of the meat. So glean the meat here. Leave a comment if you like after the on the live stream, and we'll see you guys again. Father willingly, His will be done. Thy kingdom come. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.